morning. I'm talking to Rabbi Ari Enkin this morning. Hi, Rabbi. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Rabbi, the first question I'd like to know is, what is the significance of the chuppah in a Jewish wedding, and who stands under the chuppah?
The primary purpose, or at least the most well-known purpose for the chuppah, is to symbolize the home that the bride and groom, the husband and wife, are now about to begin together. Under the chuppah, you really only need the bride and the groom and the officiating rabbi. But through custom, tradition, social practice, it's become customary to invite, in a form of honor, honoring different guests to be under the chuppah as well, the best man, parent, a relative, whatever the case may be. But again, these are not halachically required issues.
Okay. And what is the significance or meaning of when the bride approaches the chuppah and circles her prospective husband 7 times?
The custom of the bride circling the groom 3 times is probably the more popular custom, but 7 times, as you mentioned, is found as well. It's a very ancient, hallowed custom based largely on Kabbalah. However, the 2 primary interpretations of this custom is 1, the bride represents a wall by walking around her groom 3 or 7 times, depending on your custom. She represents a new wall that she is creating that will protect her husband and keep him away from any external temptations. The other reason for the bride walking around the groom represents the king and his troops, as the books teach us. In the olden days, it was very customary as a show of honor to the king that his troops and his trusted officers and officials would walk around him to show that he's now protected. So the wife does this now for her new husband to represent that now he is the king of the family and she is his queen. As I mentioned, there's some who walk 3 times, some who walk 7 times. 7 times represents the days of the week, represents the 7 shepherds of Israel, and there are other Kabbalistic interpretations that have been attributed to the now growing popularity of the 7-circle custom.
Okay, and the breaking of the glass, what is the significance of that at the end of the ceremony?
The primary purpose of the breaking of the glass is for us to recall the destruction of Jerusalem and the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. We are taught that we should have no simcha in the world that's fully complete without recalling the destruction of the temple. There are several practices, as a matter of fact, that are done at a wedding to recall the destruction of the temple, but as you mentioned, the most popular, most well-known of these practices is the breaking of a glass. The breaking of a glass, or in Talmudic times, as a matter of fact, it would break something of more value, of higher value, more expensive. The breaking of the glass serves for a moment of pause to recall that, wait a second, even in our happiest moments, we have to remember the temple still in ruins, and we pray for the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash.
Okay, and you'll see often in the festivities after the actual chuppah, you'll see the bride and groom being lifted up on a chair. What is the significance in that?
It has become social practice. It has no ancient Talmudic or Kabbalistic sources. There's no, mitzvah involved. But again, it makes the people feel good. It focuses the attention on the bride and groom, which is indeed very important. And this way of honoring them and focusing the crowd's attention on the bride and groom, it's become customary to lift them on a chair. But this is a more recent phenomenon without any mystical interpretations.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for talking to me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to the next one.